The Artemis mission is going really, really well so far. Pretty much textbook. They have noticed some things from when they did their calculations and modeling here before launch. Hello, everybody. How are you out there? It's Kelly, your solar system ambassador, and I'm back with another Cosmic Monday quick chat for you. NASA did a press conference today to talk about how the Artemis I mission is going with the Orion spacecraft. So I wanted to share some information with you about that. And everything is going really, really well. So I wanted to show you some pictures and some slides, obviously. I always have those prepared for you to let you know how the mission is going. So let's get to those right now. And we are at day 6 of the mission from the launch last week. The Orion spacecraft is returning some really incredible video and photos with all of the cameras that are on board and inside. So NASA's just been pouring over all of the data that's coming in. And as I said, they are very happy with how the spacecraft is operating. And so far, the performance has been nominal. A lot of times when you hear the press conferences or you hear them talk on the videos, they always use the word nominal. That just means that everything is normal, everything is working as designed. These images really just were spectacular as it finally reached the moon today. And this particular photo here, this was the last image that it was able to send back just before it ducked behind the moon. And NASA calls that loss of signal. So that lasts for about well, I guess depends on how fast the spacecraft is going. Well, this particular loss of signal was about 34 minutes before it was reacquired by the Deep Space Network that is run out of JPL here in Pasadena. And you've probably heard me talk about the Deep Space Network before. What it is are 3 locations around the globe in Goldstone, California, which I've been to before, in Madrid, Spain, and also in Canberra, Australia. And each location is about 120 degrees from each other. So as the Earth rotates, all of the spacecraft that we have out in the cosmos can always be in contact with Earth. So that the Orion spacecraft has been communicating with the Deep Space Network to send back all of its data, the videos, and the photos. And it's taking NASA about 45 minutes to an hour to download the data, just because there's so much of it. And, when it's that far away, it just takes a little bit longer. The further away, the longer it takes. So they're trying to download it as fast as possible, but they're downloading massive amounts of data just because there are so many things going on with the spacecraft, so many sensors and tech demonstrations and technology that they're testing for the first time. So a lot of things are being downloaded simultaneously. So that's why it's taking a little bit longer to be able to capture some of the things so they can show the public. Now, this is basically a simplified version of what the remainder of the mission is going to consist of. Right now, we're in the midst of the green loop that you see there on the graphic. That's what we did today, which is called the outbound powered flyby. So it fired its thrusters, in addition to finally being within what's called the sphere of influence of the moon's gravity. So they did a powered flyby, as I said, and they passed the closest it's going to be to the moon, which was about 81 statute miles above the surface. It flew over the area of Save Tranquility, where the Apollo 11 mission landed, and it's on its way out to a further trajectory past the moon. It's going to, if it hasn't already, set a historic record of being the furthest human-rated spacecraft from Earth to fly. So the next on the agenda for the remainder of the mission is once it finishes the green loop there, it's going to do what looks like the grayish white loop there, which is the widest loop. And then it's going to come back, do the blue loop, and then it's going to head back to Earth for a landing on December 11th. And I thought that was it's a pretty interesting mission so far. As I said, everything is going really, really well with all the sensors and the technology. So NASA's pretty happy thus far. Some other things that I wanted to share with you. This is a shot from inside the cockpit. And you see there on the left, that is Commander Moonikins, who is one of the three mannequins that are aboard the Orion spacecraft. We have a bunch of sensors attached to all three of the mannequins to give a lot of readings about how radiation is affecting them, vibrations, anything like that, atmosphere, you name it. They're going to be testing every single thing just to make sure that this will be ready for a human crew on Artemis II. What you see on the center console panel there, it says Callisto Tech Demonstration. So I wanted to share a little bit about that with you right now. So the Callisto Tech Demonstration, it's basically a voice-activated system that may be able to assist astronauts on future missions. And it's a partnership between Lockheed Martin and Alexa, Amazon's Alexa technology, and also WebEx by Cisco. So the Alexa portion of it, it's an integration that will test voice as an interface with limited or no connectivity during deep space missions. So sort of like how from 2001 Space Odyssey, Alexa, I guess, or Callisto, will be able to talk to the astronauts when they are possibly not in communication or a greater distance away from Earth. And with the WebEx by Cisco, that's going to be testing visual collaboration from Earth to deep space. So if you saw Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey, how the astronauts were sending messages back to their loved ones, so this is sort of like what that would possibly be. Basically, just doing video conferencing, but you would probably record the video conference and then send it back to Earth the further and further away you get. Now, today during the press conference, Mike Serafin, who is the Artemis I mission manager, he talked a little bit about when they finally went out to the launch pad after launch last week, and they wanted to inspect the mobile launcher. And again, that is the giant tower that the SLS rocket was attached to and rolled out from the vehicle assembly building. And they wanted to assess if there was any damage left behind during launch because the rocket, it's the most powerful one we've had so far. So this is an image of one of the areas where the solid rocket booster on one of the sides is sitting whenever it's upright. So you can see a little bit of discoloration there. Some of the paint has been blasted away because it's just about 3,000 degrees when it launches and takes off. So that's pretty hot. So some things got a little messed up there. Not too bad. Overall, the mobile launcher is in excellent condition considering how powerful the SLS is, and they will definitely be able to get it ready for the next launch of Artemis II, which I believe is 2024. The next thing to sustain just a little bit of damage is one of the housing units that has one of the cameras. So on the mobile launcher, there are a plethora of cameras from all angles because they want to be able to record everything possible so they can review it later should unfortunately something happen, or if they just want to see that everything worked perfectly. So every one of the cameras, again, because it's going to be so hot at liftoff, all the cameras are housed in protective boxes. So what you see here is actually during launch. That's why it's all glow of yellow or orange. That is camera, I believe, 828, and it is taking a picture of camera 274. And if you see off to the left what looks like a hose or a tube, that is some cabling that actually caught on fire during launch. So, but the camera itself inside ended up being a-okay. But yeah, some things caught fire just because it was so hot on liftoff. Now, this is my favorite thing that they talked about. Because the mobile launcher is so tall, they have two elevators that the crew use to go up and down as they're working. Well, because the SLS is so powerful when it launched, it blew the blast doors off of the elevator. So right now, the elevators are inoperable, and unfortunately, the crew has to use the stairs to go up and down, but eventually those doors and the elevators will be restored to working condition. So that is basically all I have for you right now on this Cosmic Monday. The Artemis mission is going really, really well so far. Pretty much textbook. They have noticed some things from when they did their calculations and modeling here before launch. Some things have changed. They're learning a lot about the spacecraft, and things are they're using a little bit less fuel than they needed to for the burns, and it's running a little bit hotter. And also the solar powered the solar panels, they're generating a lot more power for the spacecraft than they had anticipated. So all these things they're just learning for the first time. So this is the first time this is doing its test flight around the moon and back. So as I said, that's all I have for you this Cosmic Monday. This week in the US is Thanksgiving. So I'm wishing all of you out there a very happy and peaceful Thanksgiving. I will be back very soon with more videos because we have, like I said, we have a lot to cover in the next weeks and months with everything that's going on at NASA. So I hope you're doing well out there. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you very soon.